What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's having a good day so far. Today I thought about doing another video. I thought maybe I could do 5 likes and 5 dislikes of my car in particular. I'm gonna try and make it like a little nitpicky towards the BRZ TS model. So we'll see what I can come up with by the end of the video. But first, let's go get some coffee because I'm tired as hell. So I got my coffee. About 30 minutes later, I was waiting in line for like so long today. I guess I should shout out Halloween because it is Halloween today. I definitely won't be posting this video on Halloween, so I hope that everybody had a wonderful holiday. But yeah, I hope everybody had a good holiday, had some fun, didn't get in any trouble, you know, enjoyed themselves a little bit. But I'm gonna actually be heading to the car wash real quick because I just got back from a little journey of a trip. You know, I went on a little journey of a trip. I don't know where I was going with that, but I did go on a little trip, so I haven't washed the car since I've been back. So I thought I would just wash it real quick and then we'll get into this video, guys. But I'll see you in a second at the car wash. All right, guys, so I just got to the car wash. I'm gonna actually just be cleaning up the car real quick and then we'll start getting into my dislikes and likes of the BRZ TS. Alright, guys, I finally got done with the car wash, as you can see. So let's get into the real reason why we're here today. And that is because we're going to do 5 likes and 5 dislikes of the car. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of cuts in this because I am in the middle of a city, but sorry about that. Alright, so for the first thing, honestly, I want to talk about is personally how the car handles. I know a lot of people will say a lot of cars handle on rails, but this car actually handles on rails. Something with the TS, I think with the aftermarket suspension tuned by STI, along with the Brimbos, along with just everything else that the car, the nimbleness. If you haven't been able to drive one of these cars, definitely go take one for a test drive and you'll see exactly what I mean. It's honestly a very good car for somebody getting into the sports car realm. I would say around canyon roads, there's not a lot of cars that will keep up with it that are rear-wheel drive around the same horsepower. Miatas will, but I also want to state that with the aftermarket suspension, it handles ridiculous. I definitely am going to be getting aftermarket coilovers, but for a stock car, this is a completely stock car as it is. The TS does handle a little bit better than a regular car, a regular BRZ. Another thing that I want to talk about is the feedback that the steering wheel gives you. A lot of cars, I mean, how can I explain this correctly? But a lot of cars, they will have so much like give in the steering wheel where you won't feel the car move from side to side. And this car is completely different. You barely tap the wheel and you're going left or right, which at first I would say for somebody that's not used to such a responsive car, I would say that it is definitely something to get used to. And it definitely is one of the characteristics that stood out to me when I first bought the car. Long story short, I didn't test drive this car when I bought it. I saw it sight unseen and I kind of just said, yes, I want the car, and thank God I did because it's the best decision I've made, and I don't see myself ever getting rid of this car. If anything, just adding more cars to the collection. The third thing that I wanted to talk about, honestly, in my opinion, is for this car in particular, I would say that the interior is beautiful. I mean, some people are going to say that, you know, it's just a BRZ at the end of the day. I know they just added a few extra pieces, but I think that it definitely gives it some characteristics, especially being the TS. So let me just show you real quick. So like one thing that you get on the TS is the red on the door cards, you know, and then the red seats that have the BRZ TS badge on there. and the red steering wheel. One thing that I will point out as an owner of a BRZ, and I think a few people have pointed this out, but The red here matches the red on the steering wheel. The red here matches the red on the seats. The stitching is a completely different red than anything else. And then on top of that, the STI start stop button is a completely different red than all the other reds. So there's like 3 or 4 different reds in the interior. Honestly, if you're not looking hard enough, you won't tell a difference. But if you look right here, I mean, it's all different colors. It's all different color reds. But I do think that the interior for me is something that I enjoy a lot, due to the fact that I have gotten comments on it asking if it's stock interior, if these are the actual seats, or if I have seat covers or not, when in reality this is exactly how it comes. You know, I think it's a nice little touch, you know, especially when you're in the car all the time when you're driving it. Might as well have a nice interior, you know what I'm saying? The fourth thing that I want to point out that I do really love about this car, and it's actually distinct to the 2020 version of the TS, is these bronze wheels. I mean, on the ceramic white paint, which is rare. I mean, I wouldn't say it's rare. It is a basic paint code from Subaru, but at the time they didn't make any ceramic white BRZs. So that being said, the ceramic white with the bronze rims or wheels, whatever you want to call it, rims, wheels, tires, they're not, they're wheels. But the bronze wheels on the car honestly just makes it pop so much, especially because the ceramic white, unlike the crystal pearl metallic, has no pearlescent in the paint, so it just adds for so much contrast when you see the bronze. Sadly, I think I will be changing these wheels out. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll already know what they are. I already have them. It's just I'm waiting for a few suspension pieces before I put them on. And then the last thing, which I already kind of touched on with the car in particular, is the color. I know that a lot of people are World Rally Blue fans, and I get that. I love World Rally Blue too, but I honestly think this color beats it, in my opinion. You can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't care. It's everyone else's opinion against mine. But like I said, the color contrast with it just being a flat white and it being so bright, it pops. If I park my car next to another BRZ that isn't a TS that has the regular crystal white, they're completely different colors. I mean, even the review that I did in a few videos back with the Mazda Miata, I parked them next to each other, and the Miata's pearlescent almost gives it a yellow hue, while this car just pops out like a LED bright light. Even at night, it's a very bright color. So that's gonna wrap up all my likes for the car. Now I'm gonna be talking about all the dislikes for the car. The first thing that I want to talk about is the torque dip. The torque dip in this car, when I first bought it, I was like, whatever, it's not a big deal. No, it's a big deal. From about 3,000 RPMs to 40, I think it is 4,800 or so, quote me if I'm wrong, the car goes like, after 4,800 you have some power back, but that torque dip is ridiculous, especially when you're doing like day-to-day driving in traffic around the city. You're not really pushing the car past 5,000 RPMs. But the torque dip itself is just, it's something that needs to be fixed. I think in the second gen, they definitely did a great job on fixing that. A way to fix it with the first gen is definitely get some headers, exhaust, and a tune. It will definitely, the tune itself will fix that torque dip as much as possible. But I think that from stock version, I wish they had a better tune on the vehicle so that you didn't feel like you were falling flat on your face when you were trying to go. You know, sometimes it's like, man, I just wish I had a little bit more torque, especially in the areas where I need it, you know? I mean, I think a lot of BRZ owners are gonna say that the torque dip in the Gen 1s are a downside, but it is something that can be fixed. And that's something that's nice about these cars, is the modding and everything else that comes with it. It's, if you don't like something, you can just fix it with a new part, you know? And it's kind of nice that you can do that, because a lot of cars, you don't even get the aftermarket capability with it. Now, the second thing that I definitely want to touch on for people that are in hotter weather climates during the summer, because that's me, I'm that person, but this car cannot keep its oil in temperature range over the summer if you're hitting 110 plus. If you're out there driving 75 on the freeway in the middle of summer, you're easily going to be hitting 230 plus degrees of oil temperature on the car. And that's something that sticks out to me, because with how fragile these motors are and with how low of a velocity that the oil is, when it gets to high temperatures like that, it's like running water through your engine. It thins the oil so much to where it's not lubricating the parts inside the motor correctly, and that can cause a lot of problems. It can cause excessive wear to the engine. It can cause a catastrophe where, you know, piston rings blow up, everything like that. Yeah, that's something that I definitely don't want to go through, considering these engines are not the most reliable. Now, I would say they are pretty reliable engines, but these engines are a little finicky, and I will admit to that. So knowing that the oil temps are hitting 230, even, I mean, the highest I've seen is 235, and that's just cruising on the freeway going about 70 miles an hour in the middle of a 120-degree day. I wouldn't say that's excessively high, but if you're gonna rip on the car at all in the summer, then you're not gonna be able to, like, something's gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to keep it cool. And that's the problem, is that these cars don't have an oil cooling system that's built in from the factory. Now in the second gen, they did solve that. I have seen a few issues with that oil cooling system, but for me personally, I will be going aftermarket oil cooler, hopefully by the beginning of next summer, so that I don't have to go through another summer with the oil temps being so high and driving this car like a grandma. The third thing that I want to touch on is honestly that the car has no armrest. So when I'm driving, my arm rests right here, just like this. And that's just sitting right here on this plastic piece. For small drives, it's honestly not an issue. I honestly wouldn't think of it. But when you're going on road trips, you start to realize that, like, man, it would be nice if you had a little armrest right here. Now, for some people are gonna be like, bro, you're really calling out a small armrest. Well, I think it's something that they should have added in all the BRZs. It shouldn't have to be an aftermarket option that you buy from, I believe it is Toyota that supplies it. It should just be something that I feel like comes on all the cars, and the cup holders should just be movable like they are. You know, there's 4 cup holders in the car. You're only going to usually have 2 people in it. So in that circumstance, like, do you really need 4 cup holders? You know, could you just put the armrest in the middle and take out the cup holders? I don't know. The fourth thing that I definitely want to talk about, and this is honestly just, I think every BRZ owner will agree with me on this one, is the side markers. In my last video, as you can see, I took out the front bumper, and I spent about 20 minutes just trying to take the side marker out. No matter what, now it just likes to pop out. And I think everyone knows with these side markers on the Gen 1 specifically, they are a pain in the ass to get out. They have this little pop clip like right here, and you have to use a little flathead screwdriver and pop it out, and that can take you anywhere from a minute to 30 minutes depending on your patience. And just know when you do take it out, it's probably not going to come back in properly. Now, I did get this one over here back in properly. It's not wiggly at all, but the other one, I just did not have enough patience. I'm going to be honest with you. My last and final dislike about the car is honestly going to be that no one really knows that this is a special model BRZ. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to me. I still know it is, but at the same time, I think that Subaru didn't put on what they all the stuff in the dressing STI pieces that they did put on in the 2018 version. So a lot of people will say, like, oh, is it really a TS? And I'm gonna say that it is. I know that I can just go buy the aftermarket pieces, front lip, the side skirts, and the rear spats right off the Subaru website. As for the rear wing, I'm not going to really want to be able to buy that. It's like a $4,000 carbon fiber wing that comes on the 2018 version, which I didn't get. And to me, that kind of like hurts. It hurts that every single model of the TS seems to be getting less and less special. I mean, the 2024 TS, only reason I think I would get it personally is because that's the only one that has Brimbos on it. There's no rarity in it. It's not a special unit. It doesn't have only X amount of units like this one does. There's only 300 of these. Like I was saying, the 2024 version TS has no specialty to it, I would say. I mean, the interior is just a little different. They have Brembo brakes, and that's like really the reason why you're going to get the TS, is because that's the only model now that has the Brembo brakes. It's not a rare model. Like this model personally, there's only 300 in North America. There's 500 2018s in North America. Now as 2024, we don't even have a number, because I mean, people are just going to be able to order them left and right. That takes away the rarity of these. So in the long run, I mean, I feel like this TS and the 2018 TS is the real testament to what the TS used to be, but I feel like now it's just kind of like a money grab in a way, because they're going to do markups on the TS. So in my opinion, I feel like looking at this car, me knowing that it's a special car, I feel like a lot of people won't know it's a special vehicle, along with won't see it that way even in the future. But that's gonna wrap up the video today, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please leave a subscribe and like. Later, guys.